Apparently, Ruby and the gang enjoyed their trip to the exposition dump so much, they kinda did it over again in RWBY, 2 Steps Forward, 2 Steps Back.
Perhaps they should also have picked up some anti-venom while they were out.
Yeah, we'll get to that. The episode starts with Yang and Tai sparring and talking about life and stuff. Meanwhile, Weiss is putting up with her awful little brother and mastering her summoning jutsu. And meanwhile, Team Ranger has adopted the horror movie survival strategy and split up. Oh, and Sun got stabbed by some weird color-changing ninja. Now, I didn't review a much-needed talk for the same reason I generally don't review the World of Remnant stuff.
Bull, you just got distracted by that Shantae game.
Big exposition dumps are only really compelling if you're already interested in the material. And that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But 2 Steps Forward, 2 Steps Back is a lot more technically oriented when balancing dishing out information and keeping the audience invested. Yang's story did this extremely well.
Nothing like a punch to the face to keep things exciting.
Yeah, Yang getting punched by Tai in the middle of a thought was pretty great. But the whole scene is just overall really good. First, we're given a status update on Yang. She's definitely rounded the corner in terms of recovering. We also get to know Tai. He's probably the breakout character this season. He's clearly very caring, but also not overprotective, and it was a great choice to keep him as a major feature of Yang's story. Now, on to Weiss. The point of her story this season seems to be giving her something to really rebel against. Or maybe it's getting her past this summoning block. Okay, look, I don't really understand where Weiss's story is going, or her character development. Now, her overall goal, the redemption of the Schnee name, hasn't really changed.
That's certainly a heavy burden.
Both her old man and Weasley brother are shaping up to be die-hard villains, so I wouldn't be surprised if one or both of them was somehow in Salem's employ. Blake's story was the most action-packed, complete with a rooftop chase sequence and fight with that mood ring ninja. The most interesting detail about her is that she's not a faunus, and yet she seems to know Blake and Menagerie fairly well. The only thing I didn't like was how this story ended, mostly because I didn't understand it. Did her sword, whip, gun thing cut through Sun's aura like butter, or did it drop when I wasn't looking? Finally, the adventures of Team Ranger are going not very well, honestly. Poor Crow is in desperate need of medical attention.
You know, realistically, he should have been dead hours ago.
Surprisingly, Ren is the guy getting all the development out of this story. He seems more upset than the others about all those dead villages they're passing through. So hopefully, once we get some solid details on his backstory, it'll be worth it. I didn't really like the team splitting up, mostly because we're already following 5 stories, and a 6th is really pushing it. Finally, I liked the end scene where Ruby and Jean stepped through one of those marks on the ground we saw in the first village. And it's finally revealed that that's the footprint of an enormous Grimm. Okay, now let's break down the good and the bad in RWBY, 2 Steps Forward, 2 Steps Back. On the good side, Yang's whole story was great. It was nice to see Weiss learning her semblance better, and Blake and Sun have a cool chase sequence. On the downside, I was confused by both Weiss's story in general and how specifically Sun was injured. Also, I think further fracturing the focus of the season by sending Ren and Nora off by themselves is a bad idea. But I still found the episode reasonably enjoyable, so I give RWBY, 2 Steps Forward, 2 Steps Back, a 3.5 out of 5. Now, if you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel on YouTube at StupidPrivate913, or find my Facebook and Deviantart pages for video updates and more. Thank you for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.